Well, good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Motivate to Elevate Conversations of Elevation. We, your lovely three hosts, are here to discuss something that every single human has to deal with in their lives, past, present, and future. That is, how do you embrace the struggles of life? I know for a fact for me, being someone that has often held myself to extremely high standards, struggle is always going to come along. So my goal has always been to learn something from every struggle, whether it's to become a better person, whether it's to be better at picking who I allow in my circle, or even to make simple choices for the betterment of myself, as in what I'm going to eat. Weight can be a struggle. Your family can be a struggle. Racing against time can be a struggle. Imposter syndrome, which we touched on in one of our earlier shows, can definitely be a struggle. So, what do you do when you have a struggle come your way? I reflect on it. I figure out what I could do better, what I didn't want to do again, what I do want to do the next time I may be presented with that same situation. And always, always, and forever, the struggle to keep pushing. So, I'm going to turn this over to our lovely co host, Miss Tanisha. And we're going to talk to her about some of the things that she struggles with and how she has used those struggles to become the woman that she is today.
Well, way to put me on the spot, butterfly.
Hey, sister.
Yeah, no. How do I embrace struggle? I go with the flow. And it's something that I had to learn over time because the way that I was raised, it wasn't it wasn't anything bad, but it was like struggle is coming, but no one really talked about it. And so there was no foundation on how to deal with it. You just did. You make a way out of no way. I would hear the sayings that God makes a way out of no way. Trouble doesn't last for long. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh
With
in the morning.
joy.
And that's struggle. Right? So as I've gotten older, I have recognized that the struggle is a part of my journey. So
Mm,
instead of trying to stop it and go around it, I embrace it. And I embrace it because there is a lesson in it. The lesson is going to be my wisdom.
mm,
Otherwise, will keep I will continue to have a struggle or that struggle because I
yeah.
haven't learned from it. So it's like, yeah, this is tough, this is hard, it's really uncomfortable. There's tears, there's angers, there's screams, there's all of these emotions, all of these feelings, all of these thoughts. Like, why am I going through this? Like, what? It's like all of these things, but it's like ultimately I have to go through it because there is something that I am supposed to learn in order to share with someone else, which is the wisdom, so that they don't have to struggle and suffer the same way that I did. And so a little piece of that is I attended an HBCU, and the mindset, because mindset is a part of struggle, the mindset there for some
Yeah.
of the professors is that I had it really hard when I was in school to get my bachelor's, to get my master's, and to get my doctorate. Like it was a struggle. So for you
Mm-hmm.
students that are coming behind me, how dare you think that you should have less of a struggle than me? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no way. So this class is going to be hard. I am going
Mm,
to increase the struggle so that you feel like you deserve it. When all actuality, that's scarcity and lack mindset. It's a slave mindset. It's not
yes.
help. It does harm. We are supposed to lift each other up. And
Not.
so, yeah. And so I had to look at it like it was a struggle to get my degree because there were professors who actually said, "Oh, you thought this was going to be easy? Huh,
Yeah.
think again. You're going
It's
to struggle."
interesting you said that because what I hear you say is the struggle to not embrace our trials and wear them as victimhood or our identity, as opposed to lessening the load for the next generation. So, how dare that professor impart that mindset upon the students? Because the truth is, you are supposed to be a trailblazer, not a secondary oppressor. So is it each one teach one or not?
That part right there. So I had to learn to embrace the struggle with my
Mhm.
education because I knew it was
Wow.
going to get greater later. So I was like, what am I supposed to learn? And what I figured out is that as I work in my nonprofit, All That I Am, with the young Black girls, I will not do what was done to me. So I will not be the oppressor because, in slavery, the oppressed became the oppressor because it was conditioned and beat into them and socialized and all of these things. So I said, oh, the lesson is you don't have to be the same way that this individual was. Like, I don't know your true story. I commend you for what you went through. I take my hat off to you, but
However,
to be you. I can do better because I know better and I know how this feels. So I'm going to lift somebody else up. I'm going to help them so their struggle is not that hard so that they can get to where they need to be because they are the future. And so it's like embrace the struggle because it is
yeah,
for you. If not you, then who? And that's how I had to look at it.
I think the whole reason our esteemed professor is here is it blows me away that this is what this topic this day has led to, but his entire journey, everything he's ever spoken to us about, every time I've ever listened to him was because he didn't want others to struggle. He lives his life to lessen the struggle of others. Professor, tell us
Wow,
why or how you became that individual because this is you. This is your story today.
this is very fascinating because if you're talking to people who can read you like a book, you got to be careful on like where you land because when T was talking, I was just thinking about what you just said. And I was going to start by saying that we need to recognize our struggle from other people's because my
Mm,
father's struggle is not mine, and my struggle will not be my son's struggle. So we will all have different levels and different realities. For instance, if we just take the computer, for instance, my dad
mhm,
never had a computer. He didn't even know what was a computer. I didn't get the computer until maybe I was like 25 or even older than that. Then my son, at like 2 years old, he was already on my computer all the time. So then when we are talking struggles, what are we talking about? I always say in this community, especially the immigrant community, I always say we cannot raise our children the way we were raised back home because the reality is not the same. It's not
yeah,
because, as Justy was mentioning, because we had it so tough that we want people under us to feel the same way. Struggle is something to be expected. It is
mhm,
something to be welcomed because without it, you cannot really measure yourself up to a certain point. When things are very, very easy, then you really cannot know which way to go. It
mhm.
is so important, like for a person to go through hardships, because
Wow.
that not only will teach you how to deal with something bad, but also how to have empathy when dealing with other people who are in the same situation. So it is,
Compassion.
yes, compassion. Actually, one of the reason why it is recommended to fast the months of Ramadan in Islam is for people to experience hunger.
Mm,
So that when they deal with hungry people, they can understand where they're coming from. And that's only one example. So then, like, struggling is part of life. And I would say, Steve will say this all the time, you have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Because it
Yeah,
is only then that you can really grow. Because
yeah.
it's either your life is hard right now and it will be easy later, or it is easy now and it will be
And then
hard
the
later.
auditor.
So struggle is something that you cannot avoid in life. It is either now or later. But as
Now and
young people,
later.
we should, I'm saying young people, us, we should
I
really,
receive it.
we should really do everything that we can to deal with the struggle right now. So that
Mhm.
when we're in our 80s, our 90s,
Yeah.
our 100s, we can really have a very peaceful life. So to me, then, as I said earlier, struggle is something to be welcomed. Struggle is something to be expected. Personally, whenever I get involved in any type of activities or a project, if it is too easy in the beginning, I am very pessimistic. I'm like, what's going on? Because all I know is that the beginning should be very hard so that later on I can discover the easy path so that I can help other people avoid my struggle. Now, I cannot help
Mm,
others avoid their own struggle because they have to go through it. But if I know something, I was talking to a young man earlier. I said, every mistake that I made in this country or every struggle that I went through, my goal is to avoid it for the younger generation.
mm,
For instance, like as an immigrant, when we come here, most of the time we don't know what financial literacy is.
mm.
We make money and we spend it. We do a lot of stuff just to look good because we didn't have it before. Well, before you know it, kids grow up onto you. They're in college, they're doing this, they're doing that. And all of that has to be financed. Now,
Yeah.
if we knew what we know now, then we would have like stashed a lot of money on the side because we were making a lot. But, you know, because we don't know, we don't know. But if you
Yeah.
know better, you got to do better. So my goal right now is to make sure that the younger generation is saving money up, especially if you have one kid, two, three, and they're all under the age of 5. Well, if you start now, by the time they get to college, you are already set. So those
Yeah.
are the struggle that I went through without having any help because I was not really opening up to other people and nobody was volunteering information like that. So that struggle, I want to make sure that these newcomers will not have to go through it because I went through it.
That part.
Yeah.
I
It
love.
is a struggle that. Go ahead, sister.
No, I was just saying I love what he said. So yeah, I so much came up. Finish butterfly. Go ahead.
Yeah. When he was speaking, like he said, every time we start to talk, things just come to you. You get this download, and one of the things when both of you were speaking, I just kept hearing "Count it all joy when trouble comes your way." That is something that our ancestors have always said. And like he said, if it starts off easy, I'm like, oh my goodness, and one of the things that I think is so profound because it isn't just an immigrant thing when it comes to financial illiteracy. It is something that I know for a fact had been purposely imparted into our cultures and our people because
Okay.
they used to say if you want a Negro not to know something, put it in the book.
Read any book.
The households, our entire governmental system, our judicial system is based upon the notion of making something whole, aka recompense. Well, how can you not make atonement for what you've done and not taking a single step to make us whole? Good trouble, you know, our lovely esteemed, now posthumously accredited for so many things, Representative John Lewis has always said, get into good trouble, you know,
With
um,
trouble, yes.
good trouble. There are some times when I know for a fact I've gotten into good trouble because the trouble I may get into today will prevent those that follow behind me from getting into trouble tomorrow. So count it all joy. That's what
Mhm.
embrace the struggle is. And, you know, Tanisha, I know for a fact you worked so hard in secret to complete your degree. There were very few people that you shared that information with. one of them being your son, so that when
Yeah.
you did reveal how hard you worked, yeah, share that story with us, because that's a part of
Please,
embracing the struggle.
please.
Woo, woo. That was a lot.
She's
So
getting emotional now
yeah, because
because
I was
I know the journey.
at I started in 1995 at Southern University, and I didn't finish at that time. It was a struggle. And so I started working, the money became better because that was supposed to help with the struggle.
Mhm.
Forward, I got a son now. I have a son, and it was like, I want to complete this. It was for me because when I first started, it was for everyone else. So that was
Mm,
my struggle was that I was looking to please everyone else and do the things that society and family thought were the American dream. So I struggled, which is why I disrupted my journey. But it
mhm,
was good trouble because in 2023, December 2023, I graduated with my degree. So what what I learned from that struggle is it had to be 2023 of December. It couldn't have been in 1999 for the degree because I wasn't ready. I had to live a little. I had to experience struggle. I had to understand, like in the struggle, my strength. I
mhm.
had to understand what I was capable of in divine right timing in order to
Wow.
life over my son and to
Hold on,
show
sister.
him
Say
that
that
is
again. You
so
said divine right timing.
time, divine right timing. Everything happens in divine right timing. So I have no regrets. I don't live in regret on purpose. What I learned from the struggle was that then, as my son is getting ready to graduate high school, I did this. I said, I had a meeting earlier and I said, I feel like I've been in school since preschool because it's been nonstop. Like, it's just nonstop. But I couldn't ask my son to do something that I had never done. And
Wow.
to finish what I started, and I had to go through that struggle again. So I created the struggle by not telling people that I was in school because it wasn't about them. This had
Mhm,
nothing to do. Remember, I stopped, I disrupted because I was getting it from everyone else. So the struggles that I went through, it only made me stronger. But then it allowed me to speak over my son once I got that degree and say, like, you can do it too. And like, there is going to be struggle. There's going to be those times, but you will not be alone because you will not have to go through what I went through to get your degree. That's the
Gee,
wisdom.
wow.
That is the
Professor,
wisdom.
I don't know what to do when this lady here starts talking, sir. So many
Well,
things happen, and you are the first of many things in your family line. Like, what is it about you that made you be the first to say, I'm going to take this struggle?
well, I don't think it was by choice.
Mm,
Maybe it was by design because as I told my story in my book Faded to Win, you the editor, you know this better than anybody. Like it was not a choice for me to be the first one to graduate from college, to graduate from college from my family. Because when
mhm,
I was 3 years old, that's when I was given to my elder sister,
mhm,
my father's firstborn, to actually take me from the village to the city. So
mhm,
that's really where everything started for me because were it not for that, then I would have stayed in the village and be a village boy and
mhm,
become a farmer. So I don't want to give myself any credit on that because it just happened by design. But then
mhm,
I think what I really did for me is the struggles that I embraced along the way because there was a moment when Butterfly was reading the book before it was published, and she called me one day and said, I need to get the phone number of that sister who did this to you or that to you. And I'm like, she was so emotional about it. But like for me,
Yes.
it was it was good. It was something that taught me a lot of things in life, because I was
Mhm.
having a conversation with another person, I think it was this week, and I said, most of the way I live now is kind of a like a revenge on life,
Mhm.
because growing up, going to middle school, when I was in primary school, like I could wait in my house until like quarter to the hour and I will walk and go to school. But primary school, I walk about like 8 miles every day in order to go back and forth. But going through that, the promise that I made myself is that my children would not go through this.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the first time that I took my daughter to school in my car, it was like something very powerful came to me and said, this was the dream I made. Because my firstborn was in Senegal. I didn't get a chance to experience that with her. But the one who was born here, who's now 21, the first day I took her to school in my car, it was such a very, very big deal. Because
Yeah.
to me, after all those struggles, now I took revenge on life. When T was
I
talking
took
about
revenge on life.
when T was talking about divine timing, I was this is something you and I talked about, like nothing is ever late. Whatever
Nothing
is for you by
Maybe
divine right,
it's
nobody
delayed,
can
not denied.
prevent it from it to come to you. And it will only come at the right time.
Yeah.
Not the time that you want, not the time that you hope for, not the time that you wish, but it will come at the right time, and the right time is the divine.
Come on, you
Yeah.
better say, oh,
It's
that's
so it's amazing. You guys are amazing to me. You know, it you're talking, Professor,
Hey,
and
come
as
up
we
with all of
speak,
these ideas. That's all on you.
yeah, Butterfly.
listen,
You
You
did
come
this.
up with the
I'd like
topic.
to hear from you. It's
but I think it's because I spend my week gathering my thoughts for this divine time that we have chosen to be together. And by the time you guys come to me, listen, I have a plethora of things that we are going to discuss. Um, as our little Mademoiselle Nui, as I call her, Nui is French for noodle, because I'm working up on my français. Because guess what? I promised us that I will be shooting one of our last of the year seminars from Senegal, and I am in the process of making my travel arrangements because I don't break
Okay.
promises to myself.
I'll put
And
you
so,
in good hands.
yes, I'm excited. And Madame Louise is going to school her first day tomorrow. So she turned 3 on the 30th and she's going off to school tomorrow. I can't believe it.
Mhm.
And, I'm listening to you guys, and I know I'm a person that has a tendency to ruminate. When you have a large plate, one fork, and a lot of things to eat, you spend a good deal of time often ruminating, which isn't necessarily a good thing. To ruminate means to constantly lament over an idea, as opposed to breaking it down, analyzing it, figuring out the process. So I've learned one of my greatest lessons today just talking to y'all, because I need to repurpose my regret. And that's what I'm going to take away from this today. I'm going to repurpose what I deem to be regret and
Mm.
count it all joy, because I have made a way that will make it easier for those two girls behind me. For my son, who called me today and said, you know what, Mom, I think I'm getting out of Colorado. I've been looking at coming down there, you know? And I said, you know what? I'm thinking about getting out of here. I'm working on citizenship. And he said, I really have been considering that. So I'm listening to you guys, having come into this day thinking like, oh my God, I need to do better. Now realizing how much of the best I have done.
Come on.
So I will repurpose my regret. And in that, I will embrace the struggle because I need to pat myself on the back sometimes, you know? And I have a tendency not to do that because that it's not even imposter syndrome because there's not a room that I walk in that I don't feel like I belong. And I know that God's put me in places, but it is an internal syndrome that I struggle with, which the constant knowledge that I know I can do better. And I guess that has something to do with the divine purpose that the universe has put inside of me. And I thank you for this today because I needed to hear that. And it made me
Let me
reflect on what
let me add
purpose I
this. Let me add this. When you were saying, when you were talking earlier, the word that really struck me was realization. When he said, I realized, is it not the work that we should all do? Because
Mm,
to me, God is complete. So he doesn't make anything incomplete. So all of us are complete human beings.
yeah,
Now that doesn't mean that we are perfect. However, we are perfect for our purpose.
yes,
If
Professor.
we know, if
Yes,
we know what we are about, why we are here, then like everything we do will fall into place. We just need
yeah,
to realize who we are. We need to have that realization of understanding of what's inside us. Because whatever it is that we want to be, do, or have was already made with us by the complete one.
there it is.
I
So
think I'm
go
sitting
ahead.
here. It is a thing of understanding because it was the word realize and then repurposing the regret, right? That word, which is a part of the struggle that we often create for ourselves. In a lot of ways, we create struggle, and then within that struggle, there's like this regret, and it's
Mm,
the journey. So we have to understand that we are individually the experiences of source energy of God.
yeah,
We get to experience because we are created in the image of God, right? Whoever God looks like to you, but source energy, most high, we are the experiences. So to
yeah,
have regret about the struggles, that means we are regretting this journey. And each and every piece of the journey is to help grow us. I have said it before that our go throughs, struggle, will become our growth throughs,
yeah,
which means to learn, and that's wisdom, to become our glow throughs, which means we shine bright like the stars that we are. We shine and illuminate in the rooms that we are meant to be in,
that's
right? We
right.
shine to shed light, to be the guiding light for someone else whose path is dark, right?
Yeah,
So our go throughs, our growth throughs, and our glow throughs are a part of the struggle. It
mm-hmm.
is what we're supposed to experience. If
Yeah,
not us, then who?
it's not
And
us, then
Now,
who?
when
but
It's
we can
not what,
handle it. The
say it,
thing was,
Professor.
but the support, where the struggle gets a little easier, we're supposed to experience it, but it is having a community, a tribe around us to help uplift us, to empower us, to tell us that we can do it. Because
Yeah,
maybe you were sent here for me to know that I'm not alone. Yes, I'm struggling, but
yes,
I'm not by myself. And
alone.
I don't feel like I have to give up on life
Mm,
in this experience because it's too tough. You don't have to teach me a lesson or remind me I told you so. None of
yeah,
that is necessary. It is saying, I am my sister's keeper. I believe you. You've got this. You are loved.
Yes.
You're seen. You are valued. You add value. And I love you. That's how
Yes.
the journey and the struggle gets better. That's my
Yes.
plane. I hand it.
Look,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know who is enjoying this the most. Will it be the people listening to this or us doing it? Because, like, I was just
Yeah.
thinking that this is the reason why you guys don't want to do it alone. When we're just two, we said no. Let's wait for the other one. Let's postpone it because the word that this brings, like, it brings joy to my heart. Like listening to T going through the go throughs, grow throughs, and glow throughs. I mean, it is so beautiful, but it
Yeah.
is not just words. You can recognize everything that she's saying. I mean, if you listen to it, you know, all of you heard this from me many times that whoever you meet is your teacher in some way.
Yes.
So when we are talking, if we just pay a little bit of attention, we get educated.
Mm.
This to me is a weekly class now.
It is.
I get out of this. I'm like, look, I mean, even if nobody enjoys this, we are enjoying it. And
Listen,
to
I am
me,
enjoying it.
to
Yeah.
me, look, this is how you build anything. When T talked about the community, I think this will be offline or maybe online on another episode. But that idea of building a community is really my purpose, repurposed. Like I've been doing a lot of other things, but now I truly believe that bringing people together
Mm-hmm.
to grow together, to glow together
Oh,
is
Listen.
really is what is at my core that I will share with you before I share it with the world.
Yeah.
well, I'm
And I
excited.
love that
You know,
Reflect.
about you because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you, Professor. I wouldn't be here today
Mhm.
if it wasn't for you, Tanisha. Um,
feel
had the universe allowed me to take one more minute at a red light or a left turn instead of the right that I did eons ago in the 70s, in the 80s, um, one decision, 1 minute difference is enough to change destiny. And, as I sit here and I'm hearing you, one of my mantras, this is what I say to myself. Anytime this started in therapy long, long time ago, because I had so many goals and so many things going on and I just felt overwhelmed. And my therapist says, well, I need you to come up with something that you say to yourself every day. And I need you to
Mm.
mean it. And it needs to be something that you can use for the rest of your life to get through whatever comes your way. And I came up with this and just talking to you guys, I just kept hearing myself saying it to myself. It was, I am happy. I am healthy. I move over, under, around, and through obstacles in the way of my goal. I have probably said that to myself for about 29 years now. And
Can you please say that again so that
yes,
if
sir.
somebody wanted to write
what
it
you did.
down?
It's down
Yes,
below you.
sir.
Yes,
Say it again.
please.
I say, I look in the mirror and I say, I am happy. And sometimes if I'm really struggling, I may be welling tears down my face, but I will close my eyes and I will say, I am happy. I am healthy. I move over, under, around, and through obstacles in the way of my goal. If there's an obstacle in your way, if there's a struggle in your way, you can go over, under, around, or through it. But one thing you have to do is it has to get out of your way.
That
Butterfly, let me add this, because what you said is your mantra is really positive affirmation that a lot of
Mm,
people might criticize or say they don't believe in. But your subconscious mind takes whatever you
Yes.
put into it, like whatever you say to yourself. And before I know better, I was saying fake it till you make it and you make it stick. But in one of the classes, I don't remember if it was cohort 8 public speaking, somebody told me, and I think it was, um, man, there was a
Fake it.
lady,
It was a woman.
huh?
It was a woman that
Yes,
meant
Fake it.
who told me to face it till you make it and you make it
Yes.
stick. In
I was
other
there
words,
that
yes,
day.
in other words, believe in it.
Yes.
Because whether
Until
you
you make
think, you might say to yourself, well, if I say I am happy and I'm not, I'm lying to myself. Well, I'm here to tell you that happiness has nothing to do with what you were going through.
yes.
Has everything to do with your mindset.
Yes.
You
It
can
is
go to the third world
psychological
countries.
contentment, no
Huh?
matter it is happiness is psychological contentment, no matter the situation or circumstance with which one finds themselves in.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
will go in the third world countries, you will find people who are so joyful and they
Teach.
don't have anything,
Teach.
no worldly possession whatsoever.
Yes.
And they're the happiest people. But you
Joy.
come here, people with everything that they could ever need, but they can't sleep a wink a night.
Yes.
Is that really happiness? So to me, whatever it is that you are going through right now, if you understand its purpose, then it becomes your way of transforming through it. Now,
Purpose driven life.
nobody should struggle for nothing. You should not go through heavy struggle, like hardships, everything for you just to die like that. No.
Right.
Yes, you have to understand what is the purpose of my struggle. I am doing this because ultimately I will get, or I will be, or I will do XYZ.
Yes, yes, yes. I will
You
get,
have
I
to
will be,
agree
I
with
will do. That's a
exactly.
t-shirt.
yes.
Yes,
I
It
will
is.
get, I will be, I will do.
It makes me think of Eric Thomas, who I absolutely adore.
Hip
And
hop.
again, he's like, I can, I will, I must.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like I can get through the struggle. I will get through the struggle.
I
I
must.
must get through the
Yeah.
because there's somebody else that needs your help. And
that
so
right there. Yes,
dare you like not. And so like I
How
can
dare
apply
you
that
give up?
to everything. Yeah, like I can apply that to I can, I will, I must to everything in life. Like the struggle again is a part of the journey, and it is something that is going to strengthen you in
Yes.
so many ways, and you unleash that untapped power. You
Mm-hmm.
unleash the beauty. You unleash that warrior, right? That
Yeah.
warrior spirit to help someone else. It is
Mm-hmm.
it is how dare you? Like how dare you not? Right?
How
We
dare you not?
dare you not? Like and then show up. Cuz understand there's going to be someone that the universe brings to you to help you along the way so it is not so hard. I struggled in so many ways and I still experience struggle. But
Mm-hmm.
financially when I was going through school, I didn't have it.
Right.
And it was a struggle, but then I kept saying it's gonna get greater later. Like all of this is not in vain. It
Yeah.
is not in vain. And it's like, what part of it can I change? What can
Mm-hmm.
I do to lessen this? Or am I supposed to? So it's asking the right questions because sometimes we ask, why us? Right? And it's like, why not us?
Why
Why
not?
not? Right? We're asking the wrong question. It
Mm-hmm.
is, what can I do? Can you guide me? Can you show me? I saw a quote last night and it has stuck with me. And it says, God, show me how good it can get. Let my
Mm-hmm.
blessed exceed my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
This stuck with me because I don't have expectations for anything else, for anyone else. I don't expect
Thank God.
you, but you, professor, my mother, my sister, my brothers, none of them, my child. I don't expect anything of you. we have agreements. But for myself, I have expectations to show up, even in struggle. So when I read this, it was like, show me how good it can get, which means even through the struggle, right? God, show me what it is. And guess what? A struggle, when you have learned, when you have come to the point where you you are ready. What does it say? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
The teacher shows up.
Yep. So when you are ready, that those blessings, let that blessing exceed my expectation. That expectation is of self to know that you are worthy and deserving of everything great. And that struggle not in vain, that struggle was for you, and it's gonna get better. Like if you believe it can, believe that it can and it will. Look, believe it. You can, if you conceive it, you must believe it. And when you believe
And
it, you
then you
will
can achieve it.
that from David.
Yes. Yes. Go
Two
ahead,
things,
Professor.
I want to, and I'll give you to close. I think the first thing is what he said. When you say, why me? It's complaining. When you say, why not me? It's gratitude, because you are acknowledging that you've been chosen for greater good. Now, the
Yes.
other thing you said, and it will
Right.
come back. Maybe it is another type. No, it say, when you say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Somebody told me when the student is really, really, really ready, the teacher disappears.
Ooh. Okay, listen. I'm gonna watch this back because it's so many nuggets in here. But
Because you become
listen, you become the teacher. That's right.
It's
That's when your lesson has elevated to a space of autonomic consciousness. And that is when we have reached true nirvana in our higher selves. And I've experienced a few areas where that has taken place. And you do what Bruce Lee says is you just become like water and you flow, which is what we started off this conversation with. And the way I want us to close today is I'm going to share something with you all that I told my lovely daughter a couple of weeks ago as she struggled with the responsibilities of being a mother and realizing that you don't get this perfect little doll that you get to dress up. They go there, they do what they want to do. They're little autonomous beings. They are supernatural beings having a human experience. And so I said, baby girl, instead of you waking up on defense, like, oh God, she's up already. She want me to, cause see, little mama do this. She walk up to you like, here, go handle your business. You know, she made what she did. I said, don't wake up with defense in your heart. I said, carpe diem. That means for you to seize the day. If you notice your mother wakes up on attack mode, I'll wake up like, okay, day, what's up? What are we doing today? Because the most important thing that I'm taking from all of this today is for us to not say, oh God, what now? But for us to look at life, our people around us, our finances, our situations, our familial relationships, our church relationships. Sometimes it's our office relationship and say, you know what? I'm not coming in here on defense. And instead of me saying, oh God, what now? I'm going to look you straight in the eye and say, yes, God, what next? So that's how we're going to embrace our struggle. Embracing the thought that you will embrace struggle because you will go over, under, around, and through it to get to your goal.
food for the soul, food for the soul.
What a better way to close it. I think this will be the longest episode among everything, because T was just owning it. So I said, hey, do your
Loved
thing.
it.
Do your
So
thing. I loved it. I really do. I mean, this is powerful.
I
So
need this.
thank you.
Like, this is not just a brainstorming, a masterminding, an accountability session, but this is psychological therapy. This is spiritual exercise. This is strengthening our motivational muscles. And I appreciate you two so much for being here.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
appreciate y'all, truly. And I will say, Butterfly, just one last thing. You talked about the affirmations that you speak over yourself. Every day I say I am happy, I am healthy, I am healed. So I leave that with y'all as well. If you don't know what to say to yourself and you're listening to us and you need an affirmation, you have butterflies. You heard Professor talk about I'm happy, and you can use these. I am happy, I am healthy, I am healed, I am whole, mind, body, and soul. Everything else will.
Nothing else to add. Thank you so much, guys, again. Peace.